How's it going, guys, and welcome back to another episode of our NHL 22 Be a Pro series with our goaltender Everett Scott. And in the previous episode, we finished off the first round of the playoffs where we beat the Kraken. Where we beat the Kraken, I believe. Excuse me. Yes, we indeed beat the Seattle Kraken, and now we have a rematch from last year's playoffs where we played against the Predators in the second round then, and obviously they swept us. Now we are hoping to get rid of them and move on to the Western Conference Finals, where it looks like we'll either take on the Golden Knights or the Sharks. And we got through the Sharks last year in round one, but first we got to get through Nashville. So I don't really know how I feel about this series. Like, I feel like we should be able to beat Nashville, but I'm pretty sure I probably thought the same thing last year, and we did not. I guess it all just depends on how I play and how the simulation treats us. Yeah, so I explained it in the previous video, which will be an MLB video. There was no videos last week just because I kind of wanted to take a little bit of a break from it, and recording the MLB video that I recorded a little bit before this one, I had so much fun recording that one, and I'm hoping that taking a break from recording and just playing other games and not just worrying about having to get videos ready and all that, I'm hoping it will make this game a little bit more enjoyable to play as well. And I'm hoping we can come out of this episode ahead in the series. At the least, I would hope we're tied 1-1. But we might also be... Oops, bumped the table. We might also be further in this series. It just depends on how the simulation works, because if we're losing a game like 6-1 after 2 periods, I'm not going to play that. Or if we're winning like 6-1 after 2 periods, I'm not going to play that, because chances are we'll win or we'll lose if we're winning or losing by that much. So I don't want you guys to have to sit through that. I just want to get through this as fast as possible, you know. I mean, I still enjoy playing this game. It's just, you know, I've mentioned it before. I do want to be able to have a definitive ending to this year's NHL series. I don't want it to just end. So the further we can get to that conclusion, or the faster we can get to that conclusion, the better, especially with NHL 23 right around the corner and a few short months, in all honesty. But enough rambling. We are going to get into the second round of the playoffs. Oh, and congratulations to the Colorado Avalanche. Any of you Avalanche fans watching this, I fucking love it. I'm very happy they finally won a cup. They absolutely deserved it. But kudos to Tampa Bay. They really had a dominant last 2 seasons, and I honestly could see them making it back to the finals next year too. I don't know. It just depends on how their team looks next season, I guess. But enough about that. Congratulations to the Avalanche. And let's get into simming game 1. First period up 2-0. Second period still up 2-0. So this is a game where we will jump in. All right. So it'll be a little bit less background noise in this one, even though I don't really think it would have been much of a problem in the previous MLB video that went up before that will go up before this one. I had my AC on in the background. I forgot to turn it off before I recorded the MLB video, so there's a background noise probably in that one, probably slight, but still there. But I remembered to turn it off before I recorded this one, so yeah, I don't know how much editing I'll do for this. I was planning on editing the MLB video normally. Nice glove save there. Going to hold on to that. I was planning on editing the MLB video normally, but then I ended up having so much fun. I was always finding stuff to talk about, so I will more than likely not have to edit much of that. which is good. You know, I don't particularly like editing my videos. I just would rather upload them as is, because I feel like that's more of like a genuine sort of feel to it. Like it's more of a laid back approach in my opinion, and that's what I'm kind of going for. Oh, not much I could do there. I know my guy didn't have it, but I couldn't really move either because he was stuck in the butterfly, and I was not holding the R2 button to keep him there. I initially pressed it, but then he just stayed there, so... Oh well, we got that extra goal to hopefully keep us in it, but... What was I talking about? I don't remember, but... Yeah, I don't remember. That's gonna bother me now. I don't know what. Oh yeah, I try and go for like a casual sort of just watching. Like I would say the gameplay style I would like to try and aim for is like you're watching like your friend play a game. Like you're over at your friend's house just hanging out and you're watching them just play through one of their favorite games or whatnot. Or like your older sibling is playing through a game and you're watching them or something like that, you know. I kind of like that sort of feel. Because back in the day when I was growing up, when Let's Plays were just starting to be like a thing on YouTube, like it wasn't all fancy editing. It wasn't like, oh, gotta have all these flashy transitions or anything like that. It was just someone was playing through a game that they enjoyed or that just came out and they wanted to play it because it interested them, and that was it. They didn't really edit it unless there was like things that they had to cut out, you know, but like when it was the gameplay and they were playing through it, they left all that stuff in just because people liked seeing like all the things that they did. And I know with like sports games, it's not really the same thing because it's like you don't really need to see everything in a sports game. But I still kind of feel like when I have to edit like any of my videos, whether it's GTA or NHL or MLB or whatnot, I just feel like it takes away the more casual approach that I try and go for. And I feel like it just makes it seem more like I'm trying to just appeal to YouTube, which I mean in a sense I am, because obviously I would love if this could turn into like my actual job someday, but ultimately I know it more than likely won't. So until the day that it might happen, I just need to do it how I want to do it, and the people that want to watch will watch, you know. Nice glove save there. But yeah, so I'm not saying I'm going to just like stop editing my videos, because obviously not. It's just if I have stuff to talk about in a video and I just ramble through the whole thing, you know, I'm going to. And if there's moments where it's like dead air and there's not much going on and I know I can cut it out and it's not going to like affect the video at all, then I'll do it. But like the MLB video, I was constantly talking about stuff just because I had stuff to talk about the entire time. So I'm probably not going to have to cut out like any of that video. But that's good. But yeah, so I did not like that. I went and saw another movie with my parents, I believe last weekend. This is currently the 3rd now. It's past midnight. It's the 3rd of July, I should specify. It was the 2nd because I was recording my MLB video at 10. Oh, there we go. Going on to the power play. 2 minutes for interference. Logan Stanley. All right. But yeah, I went and saw another movie with my parents last weekend. I saw the new Jurassic World movie. And it says it's supposed to be the epic conclusion to the Jurassic Park series, but I don't buy that. Like, there's so many movies where they're like, oh, this is the final one. And then, like, 5 years later, there's another one. It's either, like, a soft reboot or it's just, like, a continuation, but they don't market it as a continuation. They just use the name brand or some shit, which I find really annoying. But like, case in point, Scream 3, when that came out in 2000, they were like, oh, this is the final Scream. Now here we are talking about Scream 6 coming out. It's just like, don't, like, I know at the time you're probably thinking that it's going to be the final one, which is fine, but like, you should just always play it safe and be like, don't market it as such. You know, people aren't going to think of it any differently if like 20 years after the fact there still hasn't been a new one. They'll just think, oh, well, that was the last one, and it, you know, I don't know. But that's kind of why I'm skeptical about the new Halloween movie coming out, Halloween Ends or something like that, because that is supposed to be like the be-all, end-all of the Halloween franchise, but they've tried to, well, I guess they didn't really try and wrap up the Halloween franchise. It's just Halloween Resurrections. Halloween, is it Resurrection or Resurrections? I think it's Resurrection, but regardless, Halloween Resurrection, so like Halloween 8, that was, it ended weird, but it was supposed to be, like, there was supposed to be more series, or more movies continuing off where that one ended, but since that movie absolutely was terrible, they obviously scratched it, and then Rob Zombie made his 2 Halloween movies, and then they eventually made the David Gordon Green one. I believe that's the name of the director, but they eventually made Halloween in 2018 and then Halloween Kills in 2020, 21, probably 21. I don't remember, but yeah. So like, it's like Halloween Ends is supposed to be the finale of the Halloween franchise, but it's like, is it really though? Is it? Or are they just going to wait a few more years and then basically do like a reboot of the entire thing again? Like, I don't know. But the Halloween timeline is just so bizarre. Halloween is my favorite horror movie franchise out of all of them. I don't know. It's just something about it I've always enjoyed. Just like, because it's not like you gotta fuck, except for the Rob Zombie ones. Like, the Michael Myers and the Rob Zombie movies, oh my god. Michael Myers is fucking jacked in those, and that's probably because Tyler Mane was a former professional wrestler, so that probably helps. But like, Michael Myers always appealed to me, probably because he's not like some big scary monster, and he's not like grotesque like Freddy Krueger is or Jason is, you know, but Jason's kind of a double-edged sword. You know, he's grotesque, but he's also massive. Well, more so the Kane Hodder variation. Some of the other ones are kind of scrawny, but like, he has supernatural abilities, and he's like grotesque. He's got the gross looking face to him that kind of freaks people out. He's also got the supernatural abilities that freak people out, you know. And then Freddy Krueger's got the supernatural abilities, the grotesque factor. He's got the killing you in your dreams thing, so you can't even like sleep, you know, like. But there's just something about Michael Myers. Like, yeah, he kind of has supernatural abilities that they don't ever really like mention, but it's kind of like, well, he does. Because how can he go from one end of a fucking town to the other in like not even 10 minutes? But like, he looks just like he's just a normal person who just is on like a rampage, you know. Now, obviously, that gets kind of iffy in some of the movies, but it's just like, it's still, if you go off the original timeline, like, it's just, in the original Halloween, he's just some random guy. The thing that makes it so interesting is he's not like a mass murderer who breaks out of fucking prison. Like, he killed one person, breaks out of a sanitarium years later, and then just kills a bunch of people that he's never made contact with. He just kills them to kill them. And he's just like a normal dude. That's just intriguing to me because like it was different. It wasn't like, oh, this person's killing this person because of some backstory jargon, like the Scream movies where it's always connected to Sydney, and Nightmare on Elm Street always comes back to being connected to Nancy or the Elm Street house or some crap like that. Don't get me wrong, I love Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th and Scream, but it's just there was always something after I watched the original Halloween movie that like it terrified me, because it was just like that has happened. Like there's just people who are totally normal 1 minute, and then all of a sudden they just start murdering people and for no reason. It's just stuff like that is like so weird, how the brain works like that and everything. And it was just like, it was more so of a realism thing, I guess you could say, is why Halloween is more so my favorite horror movie franchise. But I don't know. I love all horror movies, really. All the classic ones, I should say. I'm definitely in the... Oh, there we go. I knew that was coming. But I'm definitely in the boat with the people who say that modern horror movies are terrible, because they absolutely are, except a rare few. Like A Quiet Place Part 1, still haven't watched Part 2, and I don't know if I ever will, but Part 1, that was not, it wasn't like scary, like, oh my god, I'm I'm spooked. It was just like, it was scary, like, you were just tense the whole time, like, you were like, okay. And I didn't see it in theaters, but when I watched it at home, like, there'd be moments where everything would be completely silent, and I would, like, catch myself, like, not breathing. Like, I'd just be like, because you don't want to make a noise, because you get so immersed in it. And I had headphones on and everything, watching it on my phone in the pitch black darkness of my bedroom. Like at 3 o'clock in the morning, I was hunched over watching on my phone, earbuds in and everything. And it was just tense, Like if you watch it in the middle of the day with the lights on or whatnot, then maybe it's not as intense. But regardless, that's honestly been one of the best horror movies I've seen in recent memories. And like even with Halloween Kills, I will always have a soft spot for that, just because, Halloween's my favorite horror movie franchise. But I mean, there was just like some schlock with it. There were good kills with it, that weren't like trying to be like, oh, we're trying to keep the censors off of us, So that was nice, because when I watch a horror movie, I want to see some gore, but like it's also horror movies that know how to like get you like just tense, like they don't always have to utilize just like blood and guts, Movies like The Quiet Place or A Quiet Place are just also good examples of how to make horror movies, But speaking of shitty horror movies, the worst horror movie that I've seen recently was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie that Netflix made. If I would have went to the movie theater to see that movie, I honestly think that would have been the first ever movie I would have walked out on, because that movie was like 3 hours with me watching it, because I paused that movie so many times just to like sit there and be like, what? Like there were so many things in that movie where I was just like, but why? Why would you do that? Not to quote JonTron, but I'm going to do it anyway. But it was just, seriously though, you watch that movie and you're like, why? Why would you do that? Like, just why? Like, there were also good parts of the movie too, but a majority of it was just so stupid. And like, you could clearly tell that they were just trying to do like a play off of Halloween 2018's success with having the original character from the first ever Texas Chainsaw movie come back. And I mean, they did what they could, but since the original actress who played Sally in the first ever Texas Chainsaw movie died, it didn't feel right. It just felt like it wasn't the same character, because it honestly wasn't. It just felt like someone playing that character, you know, if that makes any sense. But like, if you guys love that movie, that's great. I mean, I didn't absolutely hate it. It's just, I wouldn't wish my worst enemy to watch that movie, you know. I would rather make them watch like a Barbie movie or some shit like that, because at least that would be more enjoyable. Like, I don't know. I'm probably giving it a bad rap, but been jabbing on about horror movies this entire time. I should probably talk about what we're actually doing, and that's hockey. I mentioned it in the beginning as they go offside, but I'm so freaking pumped that Colorado won the cup. I wanted them to win it last year, and when they didn't, I was very upset, because like they have a team that absolutely wreck everyone, and they were just like, they do fucking fantastic in the regular season, and then as soon as the playoffs started, it was just like they forgot what they did to get to that point, and it was just so like upsetting, because you're like, I know this team can do it, and then they just would lose, and you were like, well, that's not cool beans, bro. But this year, they just, Cale Makar, like, holy hell, that dude went on a tear. I'm so glad he won the Conn Smythe. He absolutely deserved it. We're going to the power play. Oh, that's a major. If we don't fucking win, I don't know what we're doing. Big hit on the captain. I'm surprised nobody fought. Tomasino, he's out of here. Game misconduct. Hopefully that doesn't mean Jones is injured. But we have a 5-minute power play in overtime. We got to score here, fellas. We're 0 for 5 on the power play. How is that possible? Oh, Jones is still good. That's good to see. But yeah, I'm so happy Colorado won. They deserve it so much. I think if I had to pick who wins next year, there's so many teams that really deserve one. Like, obviously Edmonton, you got to give Connor McDavid a cup. Like, a player that talented, who, like, he should have, like, with how fucking amazing he plays, he should have won a cup by now. It's just he's stuck on a team where, from what I understand, management has no clue what they're doing. Like, now obviously I only follow like a couple teams in the NHL, and that's mostly like Chicago stuff, just because they're my favorite team. But since hockey is my favorite sport, I tend to follow it more so than I do baseball. I would like to say I know a lot more about what's going on in the NHL than I do with MLB. But like, I would love to see Edmonton win the cup, because they so deserve one. Connor McDavid especially. Toronto, obviously, give Matthews a cup, and just Toronto needs to fucking win. Like, I would love to see Toronto win a cup in my lifetime. I'll always say Chicago. They can win a cup every year and I wouldn't care. But so I'd say Edmonton, Toronto, Florida. I think Florida really deserves a Stanley Cup victory too, getting their first ever Stanley Cup win. I had them winning it this year, and of course they didn't. But oh well. But what can you do? But yeah, I think those would be the teams right now that I'd want to see win most. Edmonton, Toronto, Florida. Did I have another one listed? I said Chicago, but that's not really going to happen anytime soon. Yeah, Toronto, Edmonton, Florida. And just to make it even, an even 4, I'd say Edmonton, Toronto, Florida, or honestly, I would love to see Minnesota win one. Like, I think they're finally starting to get back on track, and they're going to be, maybe not within the next 2 seasons, but I'd say within like the next 3-4 seasons, I think maybe you could be seeing Minnesota, like maybe in the next 3 to 4 seasons, they might not be a Stanley Cup Finals caliber team, but I could probably see them being a like conference finals team. Now I'll probably look back on this in like 5 years and be like, oh my God, they're trash, you know, but who knows? That's the thing with hockey. You just never know. Like, you never know. Like, for all I know, next year, fucking Buffalo could win the Stanley Cup. Like, Buffalo could just come back and win the Stanley Cup. You know, like, who honestly knows? Going for it. Oh, got way deflected. But we're going up against Saros here. Oh, got him tucked. Got him tucked. Come on, Saros. Come on, Saros. You got nothing on me. Sit down, son. Got to give my team some momentum. We're on a 5-on-3 in overtime, and they can't even fucking score. And I'm stuck on Kirby Doc. Ah. But yeah, those would be the teams I would like to see win a cup. Edmonton, Toronto, Florida, or Minnesota. I think that'd be really cool. And I know that's blasphemous, wanting Minnesota to win a cup when I'm a Blackhawks fan. But hey, at least it's not St. Louis. St. Louis has had their fun in the sun. See, that's the thing with me in sports. There we go. Finally, Burakovsky ends it for us, so we can finally move to game 2. So you know what? I'll give you guys a quick little breather, and I will give you guys a little break, and I will cut it, and I will see you guys in the third period of game 2. All right, so starting the third period of game 2 off, trailing by 1 goal. We're losing 2-1, so hoping that my team can tie things up here. But to continue from where I left off, what I was going to say was, unless it's like with basketball, I don't follow basketball anymore. I used to follow it all the time. It used to be my favorite sport. Kind of, I guess. Not really. I just liked it because of the Miami Heat back when it was the big 3 in Miami. But I follow basketball occasionally. I root for Chicago. I root for the Bulls. So there's obviously not much to root for with that team. But so like in the NBA, like this past season, the Bulls were in the playoffs against the Bucks. I rooted for them. I watched the highlights of their games, and then they got eliminated. I stopped watching NBA highlights, you know. And then football, I don't like football. Not my thing. I don't watch highlights for it. I probably will not do that. I don't like football. Not sure why. Just never been my thing. So, but I root for the Bears regardless. But since I don't really care, I root for teams that like some of my YouTube, the favorite people I watch on YouTube like. Like I root for the Eagles because of Finn for the win. I root for the Eagles because of him. But at the end of the day, when it comes to football, I don't really care. I'll root for the Bears, but kind of like with the Bulls, there's not really a whole lot going on there from what I understand. So yeah, basketball, I root for the Bulls, and obviously I hope for them to win every year. Bears, same thing for the NFL. Not basketball, baseball. I root for the Cubbies. You know, they're my favorite baseball team. But you know, if the White Sox win too, that'd be great because it's still a Chicago sports team. You know, basically every Chicago sports team I root for, and they're generally my favorites, and I always root for them first and foremost. But like, those sports, I really don't care who wins ever, you know, but whoa. When it comes to hockey, there's one team I want to win the cup every single year, and that is Chicago. And then when they're in the playoffs, I don't pay attention to any other team. When Chicago's in the playoffs, I don't pay attention to any other team. I watch every single one of their games. And then I watch every single one of their games until they're eliminated. And then once they're eliminated, I go like, so if Vegas is in the playoffs, Chicago is playing, I will root for Chicago the entire time. But if they get eliminated and Vegas is still in, then I'll just root for Vegas. Will I watch every single game? Probably not. But I will root for Vegas just because that's the team I want to win. And then if they get eliminated, then I just go to the next team that I would like to see win. So the only sport I really am passionate about one team winning is hockey. But like, my main point with this whole thing as I slap my table is that no matter what sport it is, I still always like seeing different teams win it every year just because it's a nice change of, like, it's a refresher, you know. But like, obviously if Chicago's in the Stanley Cup playoffs every year, I want them to win the cup every single year. I would like, Chicago could win the Stanley Cup 10 years in a row and I would not be tired of it. But like, if Tampa Bay won the Stanley Cup 10 years in a row, after year 2, I'd be like, oh my God, can a new team win? Not because I don't like Tampa Bay, just because it's like, I want to see something new, you know? Hopefully that all made sense. It was just a rambled mess. I'm good at rambling like that, but it's just, I like to see a new change of scenery. It's just nice, you know? But it's kind of like back when Golden State, I know they just won the NBA championship again, but it's like back when Golden State won like 2 or 3 NBA titles in a row. It was like, even though I wasn't a basketball fan, I was still just like, okay, can we please get a new team to win? Like, I don't really care, but it'd just be nice to hear about a different team for once, you know? And then Cleveland won, and I was like, okay, good, something new. And then it was back to Golden State, I think, the year after, and I was like, oh my God, you know? But I don't know. Just kind of a whole ramble fest video for you guys. But like I said, if I have something to talk about, I'm going to talk about it. But, yeah. And I don't know if I ever finished my thought, but I went and saw the Jurassic World. Oh yeah, I started talking about it, and then I went on that whole ramble about the horror movies. But yeah, I went and... All right, Tony D'Angelo, I see ya. But yeah, I went and saw Jurassic World Dominion with my parents last weekend, and it was okay. It wasn't a bad movie, but it was one of those movies where you're like, I saw it once. I'm okay. If I have nothing to do and it's on TV in the future, I'll watch it. But I'm not going to go out of my way to go see it in theaters again. Nice save off the one-timer. But yeah, it was one of those movies to me where I was like, it's good, but I'm not going to go back to the theater to see it. It's not like Top Gun Maverick or like a Spider-Man movie, you know. I'm not going to go see it multiple times. Okay, I made the initial save on that one. It just deflected in, so I'm not beating myself up on that one. But it looks like we're going to end this video tied 1-1 in the series unless my team can score 2 goals here. Or 3 goals, excuse me. But, oh well. Yeah, I'd say maybe a 7 out of 10 film, in my opinion. But if you guys enjoyed it more than I did, please feel free to let me know down in the comments, you know. I kind of grew out of the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World movies. I don't get as much enjoyment from them anymore. And I mean, I never really liked them per se. Like I don't hate them. And I respect what they did for filmmaking. But I don't know. The first one, I used to love that one more than any of them just because it's a good movie. But now I can't stand that movie because the kids in that movie are just so annoying. And I know that's kind of supposed to be the point, but it's just like there's only so much I can take. And then the first Jurassic World movie just felt too much like they were just trying to pay homage to Jurassic Park 1. And then the two kids in that movie, I didn't care about. Like, I didn't feel connected to them. Like, that was the thing with Jurassic Park 1 and Jurassic World 1. I didn't feel an attachment to the kids, you know? Like, I didn't care. You know, I don't know. Long story short, it was a good movie, but I'm not going to go out of my way to see it again. I am excited about Thor Love and Thunder, though. That movie looks like it's going to be great. I'm very excited to go see it. Trying to talk my mom into going to see it with me on the 4th. I hope I get pulled because I should not have let that goal in. Losing 5-1 now. Yeah, I got pulled. Not surprised, but I'm looking forward to Thor Love and Thunder. I'm trying to get my mom to go see it with me the night before it comes out just because I don't want to risk getting things spoiled. Because since I follow a lot of Marvel things on Instagram and Twitter and stuff, I constantly get fucking spoilers or shit that's like, oh, here's a picture of a character that shows up. It's like, really? You can't like do one of those slideshow things and then have the first one be spoiler warning, so that way the first thing I see isn't a picture of a character in it. I don't know, but anyway, I would continue this series. I would continue this episode and play through game 3, but I've been kind of rambling, so I probably won't edit much out of this video, and I'm almost at the 40-minute mark, so that's kind of where I like to draw the line with my sports videos. So yeah, I'm going to end it here. Unfortunately, we could not take a 2-0 series lead going back to Nashville, but we're tied at 1 apiece. That's better than being down 2-0. So hopefully in the next episode, we can come back to Chicago being up 3-1. That would be ideal, but we'll have to wait and see. So guys, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you hit that like button, comment down below, let me know what you thought about the video. Share this video, helps me out a ton. And if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That helps me out a lot as well. So that'll do it for this one, guys. Until next time, take care.